Samantha Urban has left WWE. The Motor City Machine Guns are the new WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The Bloodline is reunited. The 76ers are going to be investigated soon over WNBA's absence as he's out for the first week of the season. There was an important day of their season opener versus Bucks. The MLB World Series kicked off. Hooping and Cool and Cooper Cup return for the Rangers this past Thursday and the Vikings. Ended with a controversial call, but there was no reason the Rams lost. There wasn't a reason the Vikings lost that game. And Tua Tagovailoa scheduled to come back this Sunday. Welcome to Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, episode 18. Before we get into the main stuff, we're gonna start with the PBA Strike Derby. Do a preview for that a little bit because last week I did my predictions, and this week I'm just gonna be doing a preview, giving out some of the stats they had throughout the year. And the way that it was decided to determine the top eight, it was fan votes. So the fans they voted these eight people in. Because when you hear some of the stats, you'll be confused on why it's ordered that way, but it's due to the fan votes. And so the number one seed, Chris Vi, he has 31 strikes and 59. He has a 59.6 strike percentage throughout the year. Chris Vi, he's really great. Learned about him this past year. Not too much. I think he'll get to the finals. I think he will lose though. I don't think he's winning it all. Number two, uh, Taki Taki Haranen. He's the second seed with 50 strikes and a 1.7 strike percentage. Really solid. Learned about him not too long ago, just a few months ago. He's been really solid. The guy that I think is going to win it all is number three, Jason Belmont. He has 47 strikes and a 66.2 strike percentage. He's tied with Andrew Anderson, who's number four with 47 strikes and also has a 66.2 strike percentage. It would make more sense for those guys to be top two when it comes to this. But I guess because of the fan votes, I guess not. EJ Tackett, he's five. He has 43 strikes and a 58.1% strike percentage. Also really great. I've been watching bowling for a few years. EJ Tackett was one of the first people I knew about. So is the guy at number six, Kyle Troop. My favorite bowler right now. He has 34 strikes and a 52% strike percentage. Hasn't been a great year. It's been a down year compared to what he's done in the past, because he can do much more than that. Jesper Stevenson, he's seven, 34 strikes, 55.7 strike percentage. Don't know much about him. And then Artero Quinteros has 29 strikes and a 56.9% strike percentage. So like I said, the fans voted these in. These were the top eight guys who got into the tournament. Like I said last week, I think Jason Belmont is gonna win. It kicks off tomorrow, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely cover that throughout the week. I think it'll just be that one day on the 27th, but I'm gonna definitely cover that and we'll recap all the action that happens in that. But I'm excited to see because Arturo, I don't know much about him. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Chris Revive, surprised that he's the one seed in this. Him being the one seed, he has to get all the way to the finals. If he doesn't, that'll be disappointing that the fans voted him in as the one seed, just for him not to get super far. Next, I'm gonna go over my WWE Crown Jewel predictions. But before I go over that, like I said, do a quick recap of what happened this past week on Friday Night SmackDown. LA Knight and LA Knight was a special guest referee for match seven between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. That didn't work out well because he hates both guys equally. Pretty much ended the match, ended in a draw, and Nick Aldis he was pretty upset that LA Knight did that. So he was like, "This is gonna be a triple threat match for Crown Jewel," and he got to defend his title against both of them. Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce, and Ava, all three GMs for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, were backstage talking to some of the women's tag teams. It was Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, Damage Control with E.O. Scott, Kyrie Sane, Flash Legend at the Charles Jackson, then Bianca and Jay, they went back there. And Nick Aldis, like all three of us came with a great idea that a crown jewel would be a fatal four-way for the women's tag team championships. That's a great idea since those teams have been going back and forth for the past month now. Dakar Jackson, Lash Legend, they look great on the main roster so far. And really, I'm expecting that to be a great match. The way SmackDown started, Randy Orton, he demanded a match with Kevin Owens. He had to call Triple H out because Nick Aldis wouldn't make the match. Triple H was saying that he wanted to protect Randy, but Randy, he didn't care about any of that. He wanted to match with Kevin Owens, and that's what he ended up getting. And then on Monday Night Raw, Braun Breaker and Jey Uso they were the main event for the Intercontinental Championship. The Bloodline came out there, cost him a match, made him lose. So then on SmackDown, the Motor City Machine Guns defeated DIY in the finals of the tag team title tournament to move on to get the championship match. And the Bloodline came out there, and it's like they'll do the match tonight. And Motor City, they was cool with it. They wanted to do the match tonight. Nick Aldis, he wasn't a big fan of it, but since the Motor City Machine Guns wanted to do it, he let it happen. So the match happened. It was a good tag team match. And then Roman and Jimmy, they come out there. They attack Solo and was Jacob Fatu since they wanted the match. Now it's even. It's 2-on-2. Then you see Jay. He come out there after the ref goes down, takes out the Tongans, and the Motor City Machine Guns win to become the new tag team champions. And now nobody in the family has any championships or anything after all that went down. So now I'm gonna get into my crown jewel predictions. Oh, it's usually not a match added during that last week. Now it could be with the bloodline stuff if they do a 3-on-3 with the bloodline with the Tongans and Fatu versus Roman, Jimmy and Jay. Or, yeah, Jimmy and Jay, they hugged it out at the end. The Usos are reunited. So they do the bloodline versus bloodline 3-on-3. I don't know who. I guess Solo won't wrestle since he's the. I don't. Yeah, I'm not really sure who's. I know Tommy Tonga and Tonga Lord are definitely in the match, but I don't know Solo. He's on the sideline, or if Fatu is on the sideline, probably Solo, because I know they want WWE is Tom Jake and Fatu. But I'll start with the matches that we actually know, and then do that one last. So we know we're getting the Cody Rhodes versus Gunther at Crown Jewel for the Crown Jewel Championship, the first one ever. I think Gunther wins this match. It won't be clean. Somebody's going to interfere. It could be The Rock. I could see him interfering. There's also the possibility of Kevin Owens interfering in this match. Or Goldberg making Gunther lose, which I really wouldn't want to see that because I've heard rumors about that. That's I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Because this match, a champion is going to get pinned, unfortunately. And I think Cody Rhodes is going to take that pin because Gunther, they're trying to build him up to be one of the best of all time. So I think Gunther takes this match and he wins. It won't be a clean win, but that's what I have winning. Seth Rollins versus Brunson Reed. This rivalry's been brewing the last few months. When Seth came back, he made Brunson Reed lose the last Monster Standing match against Braun Strowman, but we haven't seen since that. And I think Seth, he doesn't need to win. I have Brunson Reed winning. They're building him up to be a star. I think it would just make sense for Brunson Reed to win this match. You got Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. This match could really go either way because I don't see, realistically, I don't think Liv could beat Nia Jax, but with interference from Raquel or Dominic, there's definitely a possibility that it could happen. But I think Nia Jax wins this match. Now, I'm not sure if Tiffany's trying to cash in because Naomi still haven't got her championship match. I feel like whenever Tiffany's trying to cash in, it'll be Nia Jax having an actual championship match for the women's championship. I don't think it'll be this match right here, Crown Jewel, but I do have Nia Jax winning. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. This is gonna be a fun match. I think Kevin Owens is gonna win it. Uh, got heel Kevin Owens back. If he loses in his first match, being a heel again, that just wouldn't make any sense. Obviously, it's special to both of them because Kevin Owens feel like Randy and Cody turned their back on him because those were two guys that he trusted. So this match means a lot to Kevin Owens. But the way Randy Orton been getting treated, he's trying to help the dissolve situation with him and Cody, and that didn't work out too well. But I think Kevin Owens gets the win here. Don't know if they'll do a few more matches after this, but you got Kevin Owens winning. The triple threat match for the United States title, LA Knight, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes. This feud has been really fun with all three of them. I mean, Andrade and Melo, they got the best of seven going, and they still had to get a proper seventh match with an actual referee, not LA Knight. I found that pretty stupid because he's the U.S. champion. He hates both of them. They don't want to fight either one of them for the title. But because of what he did, giving both of them a BFT, he ends up in a triple threat match. And I think LA Knight's ego is going to cost him. And I think Carmelo Hayes is going to get the win. He's going to win the United States Championship. When they do the seventh match with him and Andrade, it'll be for the title. I think Carmelo Hayes will win that. So I like what they're doing with the mid card division over on SmackDown because you have three guys fighting for the United States title, and it feels important. Like this run is much better than what Logan Paul was doing. And Logan Paul, he can wrestle. He's great with his championship run. It was just really bad for the amount of times that he defended it. So now that we have great mid card champions on both sides, because I think Braun Breaker is going to go on an even better run than his first one. That's just great for WWE. So I have Carmelo Hayes winning his first title on the main roster. Now the fatal four-way women's tag team match, anybody could realistically win. You got Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill defending their titles versus Lash Legend and Dakar Jackson versus Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Io Sky and Kairi Sane. All four of these teams could win. I do think Bianca and Jade retain their titles because the last time they lost me in a triple threat tag team match, yeah, if they lose in another multi-person tag team match, it wouldn't make sense for them to go after the titles again. Because then you figured out the strategy. The only way for them to lose is in a match like this. But I don't think the time is right now for them to lose. I think they can do more with the tag titles. I think they can have more feuds. I feel like that's one way to build up the women's tag team titles, having the women have more feuds. That's one tag team at a time. Now it's like you got the tag team from obviously Bianca and Jade, they're across all the brands instead of women's tag team champions. But you got Lash and Jakar from NXT. You got Io and Kyrie from Raw. You got Piper and Chelsea from SmackDown. It's like, yeah, I'm sure if they lose, then where do you go from there? Because like, who is going to beat Bianca and Jade? We will figure that out if they don't lose it, because I think they retain. There's something to think about. And then this, if the Bloodline have a three on three match against the Usos and Roman. I don't. I think the Usos and Roman win either way. It just it might be solo in the match. It might be 5-2, but that could be a match. I'm not really sure. But I'll talk about it because my next episode will be on a Friday because I won't be able to do it on a Saturday. Yep, or Sunday because I'll be out of town next weekend. Yeah, that's it for the Crown Jewel predictions. AEW Dynamite. That's wow. Um, I watched a lot of sports this week, so I just seen the highlights on YouTube. And there's gonna be some other sports that I haven't covered yet that's in here for the podcast today. But Dynamite, it starts off, everybody's ready to go to war with the Blackpool Combat Club. Like Claudio, John Moxley, Willie Uter, and Pac, Marina Shafir. Everybody's ready to go to war with them. And I'm gonna skip to that part. Towards the end of the show, Marina Shafir, she pulls up in a car and it says her by herself, and all the men are in the back, and they can't do nothing to her. She didn't do nothing. She didn't do nothing to them, to be fair, but since she's a woman, they can't do nothing to her. And then Claudio, Willie, Yuta, Mox, they all come through the back. Well, they come through the crowd, and I forgot who they attacked, but then they take out Chuck Taylor. They put a Willie Uta puts the chair on his leg, but then Fabio, he says, forget that, takes the chair off his leg, then puts it on his neck, and then it just goes from there. Then backstage, they go out there, everybody. Orange Cassidy was the first one out there because that's his Chuck Taylor is his best friend. So now he's just shocked at what he's seen. Uh, Blackpool Combat Club, they didn't already left. They didn't exited already. And that's that. Now back to the main topics, the most important stuff. 'Cause I don't think I wrote everything down that happened on Dynamite. No, I didn't. But that's the main thing. Shelton Benjamin, he looks amazing. He had the match against Leo Rush last week, dominated that. Then he just beat Sammy Guevara, looking great. So he already has 2 wins in AEW so far. This upcoming Wednesday, he has a match against Swerve Strickland. Now that's gonna be a good one. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I think that's gonna be a good match. That's all I can say about that. Um, let's see. Chris Jericho. Jericho is the new Ring of Honor World Champion. Apparently, a Wrestle Dream, he was paying clean by Mark Briscoe, but for some reason, Briscoe agreed to giving Jericho a rematch, or I forgot how that went. But they had a ladder match, and Jericho ended up winning to become the new Ring of Honor World Champion. I don't think that was the guy that Mark Briscoe should have lost to. Now, I don't watch Ring of Honor a lot, so I don't know who's really on on there, but I don't think Jericho needed a world title at this time. But that's his ninth world championship in his career, so congratulations to him. One due to interference because of Big Bill and Brian Keith, and it just gets repetitive with Big Bill and Brian Keith always interfering. Like it's very annoying as much as they do it. It's like if Jericho was gonna win, at least have him win clean. Adam Cole, he comes out, he's cutting. Well, he was trying to start a promo. Then Roger Strong and the Undisputed Kingdom, they come out there, interrupt, and they talk. Roger Strong and Adam Cole talk about how much they hate MJF. Then it just leads to, and they call out MJF. The screen comes on, and MJF, he's getting a massage by some woman named Natalia. And MJF is like, I'm not showing up to a wrestle dream, not wrestle dream, but full gear. He said, and for y'all to get a shot at me, y'all have to go on it. Whoever wins 3 matches in a row first gets to face me. So what I think is gonna happen is I think Adam Cole and Roddy Strong are both gonna win 2 matches in a row. Then their third match is gonna be against each other. I think MJF can pull some type of strings to make that happen. Or the third match, they have to face each other to see who faces MJF first because they both want a shot at it, and they're both gonna get a match at some point. But that's gonna be an interesting storyline. See how that plays out. The Private Party and Daniel Garcia defeated the Elite. Because the Elite, they haven't been doing nothing about the Blackpool Combat Club running all over the place. Karen Ross and everybody just doing whatever they want to. So Private Party, Daniel Garcia, they had a problem with that. Got a 3-on-3 match. They won, uh, actually. And yeah, Private Party and Garcia got the win. And then after that, Private Party, they won a shot at the tag titles. And I forget which one it is. Well, one of them, they was like, we won a championship match, but if we lose, we'll split up. And the other guy in Private Party, he was like, we didn't go over this. So there was like, then the Young Bucks were like, we accept. So this upcoming Wednesday, Private Party is gonna get another shot at the Young Bucks for the tag titles. But they have to win. If they lose, they'll split up forever. Then if they split up, I don't know what AEW is gonna do with them. So I'm thinking they're gonna win because I think the Young Bucks should have lost the titles a few weeks ago, but it's fine. It makes sense that the EVPs, the storyline, it all makes sense. But that's going to be a great. Private Party is a great team for AEW to build up as the tag team division still isn't as strong as it can be. House of Black, they returned to Dynamite, had a quick 3-on-3 match against some random guys. Then Malachi Black, he called out Adam Cole. Adam Cole's like, what's that about? Malcolm that Black was like, and that's to see one thing, see if you're still, see if you're fragile. So their match, they're probably gonna have. I think their match is next week. That's gonna next week Dynamite's looking good. The day before Halloween, that's gonna be exciting. Jay White and Adam Page, that's gonna happen at some point. Adam Page, it kind of ends up in a 1v3, but he was talking a lot, so it made sense. And I think Jay White is a babyface now. I'm not sure. I mean, the crowd, uh, he got a positive crowd reaction, like as he is a good guy on Wednesday. So I don't know if he's transitioning to a good guy now or what. It'll be interesting, especially with Juice Robinson and Colton Gunn. That's gonna be interesting to see. And then Hook, for the patriarchy is in the ring. They're Christian Cage. He's trying to figure out what's going on with Kip Sapien and all that. And then Hook comes out there because he's trying to confront who attacked his father, which I didn't see that. That must have happened on Collision. But yeah, he walks into a 1v4 basically. So Christian Cage, Kip Sapien, Nick Wayne, Mother Wayne, they all jump Hook. And that's everything for Dynamite. As you see, I got Cavs jersey on. It's Darius Garland. Not a Cavs fan, but I do enjoy watching Darius Garland play. So I'm gonna be doing some of my biggest takeaways from the first week of the NBA season. Since I already mentioned the Cavs, just Evan Mobley's looked good so far. The defense still great. Offense looks better. That's really all I could say. That game with the Pistons, it started slow for Cleveland. The Pistons were playing with a lot of pace to start that game. The Cavs ended up getting the win. They won by like 12 in that game. Uh, yeah. The Celtics, they still look dominant. They're 2-0 so far. They've dominated the Knicks on opening night. Then they dominated the Wizards. You can say, well, yeah, the Wizards are a weak team. But when you look at the fact that they did it to the Knicks too, you can't deny that. And it's like in the NBA, you play every team. It's just a matter of what order you play them in. They've gotten two dominant wins so far. And Jason Tatum, all that talk in the offseason about this and that, best player and then win Finals MVP. Well, that don't matter for Tatum because he's having a great start to the season so far. Yeah, he's just looked dominant. And the Celtics, they tied the Bucks for most threes on opening night. Then they missed 13 threes after that. Which, but yeah, the Celtics, they still look great. Anthony Davis has looked dominant for the Lakers. As you know, I'm a Lakers fan. Where Anthony Davis led us to 2-0 so far. LeBron hasn't had to do much. Bronny got the moment with his dad that was special. Now they're gonna send him to the G League, which that's gonna be great for Bronny. Spend some time in the G League, learn for a year, and maybe by next year he'll be ready to actually get some rotational minutes. But the Lakers down 22 against the Suns and end up coming back and getting the win. AD, like I said, was dominant in both games. Now the Suns have good point guard play now with Ty Jones and Monte Morris, so I didn't realize they had gotten Monte Morris as well. But those are two great additions for the point guard spots starting in back up. But yeah, the Western Conference, it's going to be a battle. DeJounte Murray, he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken hand. Prayers up to him. There's other players that's out with injuries, like Jaren Jackson Jr., who I didn't realize was injured. I think I talked about it last week, but Paul George, Joel Embiid, they're out. Just Porzingis, he's out till December. Probably some other guys I ain't named, but just prayers up to them, hoping for a speedy recovery. Never want to see injuries when it comes to anybody in any sport. The Pistons, they're 0-2, but they have real players now. Like last season, the Pistons started 2-1, and they even beat Levine. They beat the Bulls when Levine had 51 points. But I think this season is going to be completely different from last year. They already started off with 2 L's. But Cade Cunningham looks great. He's got 30 points in both games so far. Like I said, he has real players on his team now. You have Tobias Harris, have Tim Hardaway Jr. They got Simone Fontecchio at the deadline last year. Like I think not everything's came together just yet, but I think they'll be fine. I don't think they'll be at the bottom like they were last year. They're definitely not a playoff team or anything like that. But I think they could be near the play in like the 10th seed or just outside of it, looking at 11 or 12. I think they're definitely going to improve from what they did last year. Steve Kerr has been doing these first two games, learned his philosophy of playing 12 players, doing a 12-man rotation. Some people don't like it. I like it for the simple fact that if you're playing 12 guys, you get to see who's going to be my rotational guys, who's providing the most, who deserves minutes here and there, what works best for matchups. I think that's the best part of what he's doing for Golden State. They're 2-0 start the year, have dominated Utah and Portland, who I think are the two worst teams in the West. So, but you got to be able to take care of the bad teams first, and they're doing that. But then once they play, I don't know who they play next, but once they play one of the better teams, I think they'll look good. And I like what they're doing. Steph Curry, he hasn't had to play a lot. He's played 25 minutes the first game, 27 the second game. And Buddy Hield, he's looked great. Then everybody from the Warriors, it just looks like they're flowing. Obviously, I don't think it's going to last all year during the 12-man rotation. Now it could, and it could work out perfectly. Obviously, it would shrink during the playoffs, but I think it's working pretty good right now. I think Steve Kerr should stick with the philosophy because it's nothing wrong with it. Scoot Henderson, his second year leap is definitely coming. I watched, seen the Blazers against fourth. I seen the Blazers against the Pelicans. I forgot who they played the first game, but Scoot Henderson, he's looking good. He hasn't had like a 20-point performance or anything yet, but he's just played solid defense, made good plays that you can tell like he's trying to win. He's trying to improve, trying to make the right plays. And I think Scoot Henderson is in for a second year leap. Obviously, he had a tough start his rookie year. He's coming off the bench this season, which I think is going to work much better for him. Coming off the bench, playing a six-man role, I really like that for Scoot Henderson. And I really like the play that he's provided for Portland to start the season so far. Tyrese Maxey, he has a heavy workload right now. As I mentioned, Joel Embiid and Paul George are both out this first week of the season. They're already 0-2, and it's just like Tyrese Maxey, he has such a heavy workload. It's like everything is on Tyrese Maxey right now. Don't exactly remember the stats he's put up so far, but it's that sucks because he's the second option. He's the first option right now, but your first and third option are both all-star guys. Joel Embiid, MVP, Paul George, multiple time All-Star. He will be a three because he'll be the third option because Tyrese Maxey is better at this point in his career. But it still sucks that two of your top three stars are out, and it leaves everything on Maxey. And it's him with Oubre, Andre Drummond, Kyle Lowry. And those guys aren't bad. It's just those are role players. And it's like if they play a team like the Pistons, they'll be able to, who would be one of the worst teams, or let's say the Wizards, who will be one of the worst teams in the league, they can keep up because two of your top stars aren't playing. Then OKC, they just look like a team filled with vibes. They destroyed the Nuggets in their first game. They won 102 to 87. It was a defensive battle, but Shea and Chet, they played really good. And press at the end of the game, the post game interview, it just looks like they were all just happy to be there, happy to be with each other. It was just vibes throughout. You could feel it throughout the whole team. And speaking of the Nuggets, Mike Malone ran a lineup with Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook. I forgot who else was on the court. No, Jokic played a few minutes with them. He did it for like 5 minutes in the second quarter and like five to start the fourth. And it just looked really bad. I did not like it, especially the defense. It just looked bad because it was easy for OKC to pick that apart. So Michael Malone, he never needs to do that again throughout the season. Because I just don't think that's going to be a great idea, no matter who they're playing. Because OKC, they're going to be a top team in the West, so they were able to pick that apart. But I don't think other teams are going to be able to pick that apart, even like middle tier teams. And that's the Orlando Magic. Definitely good so far. They're 2-0. They dominated Miami the first night. Paulo had himself a game. Then second game they had, Probably didn't do much, but Franz Wagner had a good game. And Orlando, they just look good so far. Miami, don't know what's going on with Bam and Jimmy. They definitely got to step up if they. I think they play later today. They can't play how they played in that first game versus the Magic. Those are all my takeaways from the NBA so far. Didn't go through every team. I don't go through every team every week because that's a lot. But those are my biggest takeaways that I found most important through the NBA season so far. It's just been the 3 days. Yeah, it's been 3 days. And it's that teams have played what every team has played already. And so we expect more basketball stuff throughout the season, probably longer segments. But moving on to the MLB World Series, which started last night. It was a low scoring game between the Dodgers and Yankees. It was a really good game. The first score happened at the bottom of the fifth. Uh, I think that was when Hernandez scored, yeah, for the Dodgers. But then uh, San- Santon, I think I might say his name wrong, but he hit a 2-run homer to put him up 2-1. Otani, he was eventually able to tie the game at the bottom of the eighth. It was 2-2. Then in the ninth inning, and nothing happened. So we get extra innings in the first game of the World Series. Game two is taking place tonight. That's why I wanted to go ahead and get the podcast out the way, record this. So then I'll be ready to take notes and everything for the game tonight, which wasn't really a great time to record today because Alabama and Missouri is on right now. But I'll catch that as soon as I get done recording. But back to the baseball game, 10th inning. Uh, number 13 for the Yankees. I forgot his name. It was Jazz something. But he stole two bases. He stole second and he stole third. Then he was able to get a run for the Yankees to go up 3-2 heading to the bottom of the 10th. Then at the bottom of the 10th, the Dodgers. Now, Tony, he had a hit and the Yankees caught it. I forgot his name. He had a really good catch. He went into the barricade. Glad he was all right. But then Freddie Freeman, he gets up to bat. The bases are loaded for the Dodgers. And he hits a walk-off grand slam, and they win 6-3. So the Dodgers end up winning the first game of the series in LA and extra innings. It was a great game from start to finish. Obviously, six is a lot, but those points came from a grand slam in the 10th inning. So I still consider this for the most part. It was a low scoring game. It wasn't like it wasn't like the two series they had before where it was like this team scoring 10 points, this team scoring 10 runs and this and that. It was really good pitching from both sides and it was fun to watch. We had a Dodgers State game one. I uploaded a short the other day where I was saying it's only my third season watching baseball, so I wasn't gonna do a full in-depth preview. But I do have the Dodgers winning in 7 games in this series. But I think both of these teams, these are two elite teams, and neither team can afford to lose. So I definitely see it going 7. Next, like I said, we're gonna be getting some hockey content soon. I mentioned that. Been doing some hockey stuff the last few weeks. Been watching some games. This segment, it's 4 teams I have, trying to see who's the most disappointing team so far. The first the first team, the Montreal Canadiens, they're 2-4. They're 2-4-1 with a minus 10 point differential. Haven't done much this year, but they do have at least they have 2 wins. Not all of these teams can say the same. The Nashville Predators are 2-5-0 uh, with a minus 8 point differential. Philadelphia Flyers have a minus 14 point differential with a 1-5-1 record. And the San Jose Sharks are 0-6-2 with a minus 17 point differential. So I think you might think it's obvious due to the win. Now, obviously, I'm going with the San Jose Sharks. They haven't won a game yet. That's just, and they're giving up the most points in the league out of any team. But all 4 of these teams have been very disappointing. But definitely Philadelphia is definitely the second most disappointing team here. They had 1 win, a minus 14 point differential. not far off from the San Jose Sharks. But it's like these four teams, they're doing basically next to nothing. It's only been 7 or 8 games for the season. As you know, it's an 82 game season, so they have plenty of ways to go. But it's not, these aren't good starts for any of these teams. But there's not too much for that segment. But speaking of some teams that are starting good, the Utah hockey team, they actually started off pretty good, but they'll slow it down. You know, they'll lost some games. They started 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they're 4-3 now. The Utah had a really hot start to the season. I'm gonna check it right now. Yeah, they're 4-3-1 at the start and 3-0. They had a really good start to the season. New Jersey, they're 5-4-2, which is surprising that they're at the top of their uh division. Especially after the game they had a game the other day. I was really disappointed. It was a game that they should have won. I had no sport. It wasn't Friday, was it? That might have been Thursday. The Devils played. Yeah, the Devils played the Red Wings. That was a good game. The Devils should have won that game. But yeah, that's it for that. Oh, my next topic is the reviews in sports that seem to take forever. Like it's not just when basketball, and it hasn't happened in the NBA season just yet. I definitely think it's gonna happen at some point where the fans start complaining about the challenges and how long it's taking to see if it's a foul or not, see if the ball went out of bounds, this and that. Like sometimes the reviews they just take too long. You see it in the NFL when they're trying to see, oh, did he get both feet in? Did he not? Did he have possession of the ball? Is it a fumble and this and that? But it's also happening in volleyball too. Watching women's college volleyball, which that's the new topic that you'll see appearing on the podcast over the next few weeks. We're sticking to the review part. Uh, it's one thing like when they're trying to figure out the points if it goes out, like if it hits the line or if it goes past the line where it's out at, and their review takes too long, especially with the challenges. Because in volleyball you get two challenges, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the challenges they just feel really long. And I don't know if it's a way to eliminate it. Like you can determine the call in a certain amount of like 2 minutes, and you have to change the call with something like that. I don't know if that would help or if it wouldn't. But the reviews take way too long, not just in basketball and football, but in volleyball too. Sometimes I don't think the reviews take as long in hockey, but I haven't been watching hockey very long. It's only my second year watching hockey, so it might be bad there too. But that's it for that segment. But back to the women's college volleyball. Who was the best team in college volleyball right now? It has to be number one Pittsburgh. They were 17-1 heading into their game yesterday versus number four Louisville, who was 16-2. Pittsburgh, they set the tone winning the first set. And for those who don't watch volleyball, they do sets. So it's 5 set. It's best of 5 sets. So you have to win 3 sets. And each set is sets 1 through 4. You go to 25 points, you got to win by 2. If it goes to a fifth set, you have to go to 15 and you win by 2. So then it was back and forth. Like after Pittsburgh won the first set, Louisville won the second set, Pittsburgh won the third set, Louisville won the fourth set. But then it was 2-2 going to the fifth set. It was just like neither team can really get the edge because it's like they both keep going back and forth. All these women are playing great. And the way that Pittsburgh plays, they don't go to over 3 sets a lot. And I'll get to that later. But they won the fifth set 15-12. And that was one of the reviews I was talking about. Like they was trying to review as soon as Pittsburgh got their 15 point, it hit the line over and Louisville, they was like they challenged it to see because obviously it's the end of the game and you have a challenge left, so why not challenge it? The challenge was unsuccessful, but it did take a very long time. But Pittsburgh won. They had only lost one game. up to this point, and they improved to 18-1 as Louisville fall to 16-3. But Tori Stafford, she had 15 kills, 13 digs. If you don't, those are really good stats for volleyball. Kills, but it's pretty sure kills when you spike it over the net and it hits the ground. Forgot what the digs are. But Pittsburgh, they've won 3 games in a row. They're 9-0 at home. They're 7-1 away. They 2-1 in neutral sites. Their only loss came to SMU in a game that went 5 sets. And this was really interesting. They lost that set two, obviously 2-3. Then their other sets that were in the set that they had against in the Louisville game, it went to 5 sets and they won. And they had a game against Boston College where it went to 4 sets and they won 3 sets to 1. But out of that, those are 3 games that had featured 4 sets or more in the Pittsburgh game. They have 16 sweeps on the season. So 16 times how they won this game of 3 sets to 0. There's not many other teams doing that. That's just elite play from Pittsburgh. Olivia Badcock, Olivia Baycock, she has 259 kills on the season. So they're looking like the favorite. They're looking dominant as ever. It's not many teams that can stop them right now. Even Louisville, they had a chance. They almost got the win. SMU, they're ranked 15th after this moment. I think Creighton, they're ranked number 6. They have a really good team. Those just to name a few. I'm pretty sure Nebraska's up there in the rankings. I think they're top 3. But Pittsburgh, they'll just look dominant. It's not a team that's just doing this. But yeah, that's elite play from Pittsburgh to women's volleyball team. Next, the NFL MVP favorite. We're getting to that point now where we're starting to look at the favorites for the awards, and the most popular one is MVP. Obviously, it's 2 candidates I see right now: Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff. Lamar Jackson, and we're heading into week 8 of the season. That's crazy. It's already week 8, about the halfway. So once we get to week 9, that'll be the halfway mark, but we're almost there. So I figured I'd do it now. Uh, got a stat comparison for the both. Because I think right now I'll go Lamar for MVP. Uh, Lamar leading the Ravens to a 5-2 record, a 68.5 completion percentage, 1,810 passing yards, 15 passing touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He had 73 carries for 455 yards rushing and 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. He's averaging 67 rushing yards per game. Now 65 rushing yards per game. Jared Goff 5-1 record. Uh, and both of these teams are at the top of their division. The Ravens lead the AFC North because they'll play division 1 or 2 when they'll play the division game already, and the Steelers haven't. Because the Steelers are also 5-2, but the Ravens have the tiebreaker. Then Jared Goff leading the Lions to a 5-1 record. They're at the top of the NFC North. Yeah, they're at the top of the NFC North. Then he has the 73.6 completion percentage, has 1,610 passing yards, 10 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And you know, Goff, he doesn't run the ball much, so it's no point in me seeing his rushing stats. Because I compared to Lamar, though. But he's a quarterback, so it's fine if he doesn't have elite rushing stats. But Lamar is the MVP favorite right now. I think Jared Goff is a close second. I'll go Lamar because of how dynamic he's been this season. Like he's won 2 MVPs and he looks better than either one of those MVP seasons this year so far. The fact that he can do all this, this is the best he's looked as a passer in his career. He looks great as a runner. He's getting the team wins. He's not turning the ball over. He just looks great. The first 2 weeks, even those games, the Chiefs game, very they easily could have won that because they played really good that game. Then the Raiders game, they just blew a lead, but they've been on the 5 game winning streak and they've looked great. Now Jared Goff, I said it's a close second because he's having a good season, and he wore Aiden Hutchinson down. It puts more pressure on the defense, but it also means that the offense has to score more, so the offense doesn't have to do as much. And I think Jared Goff all season, he's just putting the lines in positions to win these games. They only got 1 loss on the season. They played the Vikings, who were undefeated, got the win. And yeah, so those are my top two candidates right now. Lamar's number one, Jared Goff is number two. And and now we've got near the end of the podcast. So for the athletes of the week, let's get it started with the NFL. One with Saquon Barkley, he had 176 rushing yards, uh, on 17 carries, a 10.4 average and one touchdown, and the Eagles beat the Giants 28-3 in Saquon's revenge game. He said it wasn't a revenge game, but he was 13 yards away from breaking his record. Nick Sirianni asked him, did he want to break it? He said no. He wanted the young guys to get their opportunity. He wanted them to thrive and do what they can. Because there was no reason for them to come back in because they got hurt trying to do that. For MLB, I went with Freddie Freeman, 4 RBIs, 1 home run, 2 hits, 1 run, and a walk-off grand slam. It don't get much better than that to start off the World Series. So shout out to Freddie Freeman. That's elite play in game one of the World Series. Hopefully he keeps that up. Maybe he'll be back on here again. Also, since the WNBA season just ended on Sunday, and I do the podcast on Saturdays, this is the last WNBA player of the week until the next season starts, which will be next year. So the last one for a while was the Noir Savali. She had 13 points, 7 rebounds, shot 5 of 7 from the field, 3 or 4 free throws, and she came off the bench. And the Liberty got a win, 67-62 over the Lynx. I already did my recap on that game. It was a great game from her coming off the bench, doing whatever she could. Yeah, shout out to her, yeah, helping the Liberty get that win despite Sabrina and Brianna Stewart struggling in that game. For WWE, went with the Motor City Machine Guns again. They went 2-0. They won 2 matches, defeated DIY and they defeated the Bloodline, and what were 2 good matches back to back. They did all that in 30 minutes. So just shout out to the Motor City Machine Guns. They've been pushed to the top already. New tag team champions on SmackDown. Shout out to them. For AEW, Private Party had a great trios match with the help of Danny Garcia, which the segment after I like because it shows that they weren't on the same page. That could that might lead to something, but hopefully they can get those tag titles next week. And for the NBA, I'm gonna go with Jason Tatum. I like the way that the Celtics that he started off the season. He's looked he's looked great. He's looking like an MVP candidate so far. There's been a lot of guys with good performances, such as Trey Young, such as LaMelo Ball, Anthony Davis, just to name a few. But I'm going with Jason Tatum this week for the NBA for Athletes of the Week. That's it for this edition of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed. This was episode 18. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my other videos on the channel. Peace.